Hey guys. All right, today we're going to be reviewing circles. We'll probably be doing this for about 2 or 3 days before we move on to surface area, just because I know there were some people that didn't finish their test while we were working on Friday, and because there were quite a few people absent too. So we're going to spend some time reviewing it, and then we'll probably take a little assessment probably sometime this week. So what I want you to do is while I'm working through these, I would pause the video, get out a blank sheet of paper, write the problem out, and then work with me as I'm going, or you can even try to work it out yourself and then check your answers with mine before you have to do some on your own. Okay, so I'm going to start with number one. So I want you to find the area of the white space. So the best way to do this is to find the area of the circles, right? Find the area of the whole actual rectangle and then subtract the two. That would leave me with all the white space. So the rectangle part's pretty easy. I'm going to go ahead and do that one first. So I'm just going to draw, or it's a square. I'm sorry, the square. So it's a 5 by 5 square. So I know the area of the square is going to be 5 times 5, which is 25. So now I want to figure out, okay, I need to find the area of one of these squares, and then I could just multiply them by 4 because I know there's 4 of them. So let's look at the piece of information they give me. From here to here is 5. So this whole long piece. So if I was to keep on going, I know this whole thing is 5. Right? So if I want to find, okay, what one of these are right here, right? I know I could just take 5 and divide it by 2. So then I know this is 2.5, right? The diameter of one of the circles is 2.5. So I'm going to write that. The diameter is 2.5. Well, I know if I want to find the area of a circle, I'm going to use the formula pi r squared. So I had to find, okay, well, what's the radius of one of these diameters, right? 2.5. So what's half of 2.5? If I divide that by 2, I get 1.25. Okay, so now that I know the radius of one of these circles, I can now find the area. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on that. So the area would be 3.14 times 1.25 squared. So if you don't have a handheld calculator, make sure you have Desmos somewhere on your Chromebook. That way you're typing this in. So when I do 3.14 times 1.25 times 1.25, let's see what we get. Okay, we get a long number, so I don't want you to round on any of these just yet. That way we get the same answer. So even if you get a long answer, that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and write it. So 4.90625. Okay, so that would be the area of one of these circles. But since I have 4, I have to multiply that by 4. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to multiply it by 4, and we get 19.625. So I found the area of the square is 25. Since I multiply my circles by 4, I know the area of all the circles is 19.625. That's how much I know how much space they're taking up inside that circle. So to find the white space, I want to find all the what's left over. So then my final step would be 25 minus 19.625. And then you get a final answer of about 5.375. Okay? All right, if you have questions on that, always feel free to email me. I'm going to start working on number 2 and 3. Okay, so if they give you the area or circumference and they ask for the diameter or radius, you can always work backwards. You can always find those. So the first one I give you is when they give you an area or circumference and they give you the pi sign with the answer. So that means they didn't multiply what they had, the radius or diameter, by pi. They were saving that for last. So sometimes they do that just to put the symbol there to show that they're multiplying by 3.14, or to show, because of rounding, sometimes the numbers might be off, so they might wait. So if I want to find the radius of this, I still got to use the area formula, which is pi r squared. So I already know what the area is, so I'm actually going to plug that into A. I know the area is 100 pi. And actually find my radius, right? I'm going to set that equal to whatever the formula was, which is pi r squared. So my goal is, okay, I need to find r. So just like a two-step equation, I want to try to isolate the variable. I've got to get r by itself. So the very first thing I'm going to do is, let's get rid of the pi symbol. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. They both cancel out, and look what I'm left with. I'm left with 100 equals r squared. Now, this is where people sometimes kind of forget that I don't want to know what r squared is. I want to know what the radius is. That means I got to undo my squared, right? So the only way to undo square is to take the square root. So square root of 100, that means what number can I multiply by itself to get 100, which we get 10. So my radius is 10. My diameter is, if I know the radius, I could just double it, and that will give me my diameter, which is 20. Okay, so I'm going to use that same method for number 3. I want you to find the diameter and the radius. So let's see what they give me for this one. They said that the circumference is 78.5 feet. So to find circumference, I already know the circumference is 78.5. The way we find circumference is doing pi times diameter. So again, I want to try to find the diameter, so I got to get rid of pi. So the very first thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by pi. That way these cancel out. Now, instead of writing the pi symbol, we just know that's 3.14. So right here, I'm going to have to divide. So in your calculator, you're putting 78.5 divided by 3.14, and we get 25 equals D. So I already know what my diameter is. My diameter is 25. So now I can find the radius. And how would I find my radius? I take half of 25, which is 12.5. Okay? That's how I would set up every one of these problems. All right, let's try the last one. Number 4. It says find the area of the shaded region. So I want this big circle. So I can see these are 2 different circles. I can see the shaded part is 1 circle, right? And then it looks like they put something right in the middle of that circle. They put a smaller one. So I had to look at these as 2 different figures. So whenever they want the shaded region, I had to find the area of the whole big circle. Like imagine the little circle's not there. I want to find the area of this whole entire circle. So if I kind of drew a picture of that, I want to find the area of this whole entire circle. And then I got to subtract the extra spot that they put in there, right? So let's find the area of the big circle first. So we're going to find the area of the big circle. So I labeled it B. We're going to do this one red. So for B, we know area is pi r squared. So I know I'm going to multiply by 3.14. Let's find r, right? Well, I know this is not r. R radius has to go through the center. So if here's my center, let me make this dot. If I know this is 3, I have to know this piece too, which if I look at it, they actually even tell me that, right? A radius can come off any piece that's from the center. So even though this is 2, I also know if I attach on this piece, it's 2. So altogether, 3 plus 2 gives me 5. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 5 squared, which, let's see what we get. We get 78.5. So I'm just going to double check that. 3.14 times 5 times 5. So you get 78.5. So now I got to find the area of a smaller circle. So I'm going to name this S, smaller. So they already give me the radius is 2. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 2 squared. So now I would get 3.14 times 2 times 2 you get 12.56. And then my last and final step is I wanted the area, the shaded region, so I had to take away that white space in the circle. So I would do 78.5 minus 12.56, which gives me a final answer of 65.94. So if you have questions on any of that, you should have been working that out with me, extra practice. What you're going to do is you're going to have some problems where you're going to do by yourself. What I want you to do is, since it's going to be hard to show work, all I want right here is for you to fill in your answers, and then you're going to submit that back to me. It's an assignment on Google Classroom. So I put on your directions that you do not need to put labels. That's fine. Just put in your answers. So if you get an area of 65, you could just put 65. Don't worry about putting feet squared or anything. But if you could type your answer in red, that way I can quickly see what you put. That way I could easily identify your answers. If you have questions at all, please email me. Everything is going to be on the weekly outlook. Feel free to move on, work ahead, whatever you can get done. And then we'll probably be starting surface area on Friday. So just look for something new starting on Friday. Hope you guys have a good week. Enjoy being at home, getting some stuff done, and try to stay safe, please.